welcome to my channel. Today we'll be looking at how to create a to-do application with Laravel, and the to-do application basically comes with authentication and authorization. Yeah, so the first thing that we'll look at is what is Laravel. Laravel is basically a PHP framework, and if you really want to read more about it and also look at the documentation, just go to laravel.com. I'll put the link in the description below. Alright, so let's look at what I've developed and then what we'll be doing together. So this is basically the app. When you click here, it's basically the home page that you go to. But when a user is trying to go to the home page, it will just redirect the user to the login page. Right, so you can see we are redirected to the login page. Even if I remove the login and try to just go to the home page here, so basically redirecting back to the login page. And there's also a register, so the users get to register and then also log in. So I've clicked on register and let's see what happens. So when you're registering, you just need your name, your email, and then your password. And if you want to log in, what's left is when you want to go to do, that's where the application is. It will basically redirect you back to log in. So because nobody can visit that page unless maybe you are logging. So let's see how it works. Okay, so still on login. So I'm going to log in with my user credentials. I already created a user with this credential, calculus, and then the password. So let me log in. Alright, so that's it. So when you log in, you basically see items that you've added. And so this is my user. I can log out. When I log out, I'll go back and then I'll come in again. Now you can add an item. So let's see how to add an item. So just click on add item. When you want to add an item, you give it a title, a description, which is not compulsory, it's just optional, and then you mark it whether as complete or not completed. All right, so I'm going to add an item. So let me say get oranges for us. Wait, okay. Get oranges. Description, let me say get oranges again. Alright, and completed. You don't need to mark it when it's not complete. So I just submit. Okay, we should be redirected back to this page all over again. And now we are redirected back with item created successfully. Now, and then let's go back to our to-do list to see whether we have the item that we added. Now here we go. So we have get oranges right here. We can click on it. When you click on it, to basically take you to an edit page, or you can click on this to edit. It's the same thing. Whether you click on this or this is the same thing. So I'll click on this first, and then I'll come back. When I come back in, then I'll try to click on the edit button that we saw. So then go back. Let's click on edit. Great. So we are there. So this is it. We can edit it the way we want and to anything that you want. That's it. So I'll just mark it complete and then submit. All right, so submitted. Now we can go back to check. So you can see once it's completed, there'll be a line that will strike the item. That's it. Now when we want to delete, we can just click on delete. And I usually want to delete get oranges. That's the title of the item. If I click on no, it will redirect me back to the to-do list. Now let me just click on it and try to delete it all over and see what happens. So let's delete. All right, so item deleted successfully. So that's it. So basically this is what we are going to do. So let's start. When you're starting, you need to have Laravel installed. Now if you want to install Laravel, you can just go and click on the documentation side, or you can just look for a blog where you can actually install Laravel for Windows, Linux, Mac, any operating system you are using. So I'm not going to walk you through how to install Laravel. I'll just basically walk you through how to create the project and then start the project. So let's go back. So I'm going to create a new Laravel project. So I'll type, for me, I have Laravel installed globally, so I can type Laravel new, and then I'll call it Laravel to do app, to do app. All right, and let me enter. So let's enter and see what. Okay, so I just click on enter, and then the Laravel project is going to start. Let me open this one wide, and then we see what happens as it is installing the packages for us. So getting a Laravel project. So this is basically a Laravel project, and then it is saving it at this folder called Laravel to do app. Now first to install Laravel for us, and then we can see the version for Laravel, and that's it. And this will keep the env file, the environment file. So it's here. What it basically says is, if the file exists, we should just keep the file, or probably just run it, or you can copy whatever is in the .env.example to this, and that is it. And then we have loading composer repositories with package information. So we are going to get those ones very quick. So I think we are done now. So when you're done, you should see this application ready, build something amazing. So that's our lab application. Now the first thing that we need to do is to open this in VS Code. So I'll cd to the application. I'll move into the lab application. And I'll probably use do code dot. Right. So here we are. Now the first, it has a lot of files like and folders created for you. So the first thing that I would look at is the .env. So whatever is in the .env is what is in the .env.example. Maybe just the app key. So let's see here. The app key that is here is not here. Right. Now this is basically the app name. So I'll just call it to do app. The app name. Let's call it to do app. And then the app key is already there. And the database, that's basically what you are going to use. If you are going to use some Redis configuration, we are not going to talk about this. Now we'll just focus on the database. So the database connection is MySQL, the host is localhost, the port is base, and then the database name is this. This is the database name. Now the username is root, and then the password is something else. If your username is something, put it there, and your password, we can put them there. Now for me, I'll just go to my XAMPP, open my admin. Okay, let me just click on this. All right, so I'm going to create a new database. Yeah. All right, and database name, I just copied it from the .env file right here. This one, I just copied this and I pasted it here, and just create it. That's all. Just create a database, nothing else. Good. So the database is being created. So it's right here. Laravel to do app. It's right here. Now let's go back. So I've worked on that one already. I can just copy this and paste it. Just highlight whatever is in the .env.example. Paste it there. Now let me come to the file. So the app folder, we'll come back to it. So Laravel comes with Bootstrap pre-installed. So it's already installed Bootstrap for us. Now this is a config file. The first one is app. This is basically some of the configuration. So this is your app name. So it will take it from the .env file. If it doesn't see it, then it will use the name called Laravel app. You can just change it to this to do app. Right. Okay. And then the environment is production. That's fine. um, asset URL. I mean, it's okay. There's nothing to change here. Okay. The app key to take it from the environment for it to work. Now there's auth also created, broadcasting. I don't think we use all these things. And the database, let's look at database. So for database, you have like the default database connection is MySQL. That's a default one. If it doesn't find a connection, to use MySQL for it. And these are the drivers that you want. You can use SQLite, so you can just go up and change this thing there. If you want to use MySQL, it's there. And database name, username. If it doesn't find anything there, .mv, to just give it some, to just forge some names for it, some default names, right? And there's PostgreSQL, and then SQL SRV. Okay, I think that's all for now. And then there's Redis configuration also if you want to do that. Now I think that's all for the config, and then database. Database is basically where we have our like tables created. So Laravel comes with 3 tables pre-configured for now. So we have the users table where it creates the user table for us. There's a table name which is users, and then we have like the username, the email verify that, and then the password, and then we have the passwords also, and then the field job. Okay, so we don't need those things. And CDs for now, I don't think we use any CDA, so we can just leave it. The public folder is where you actually want to upload your CSS, JavaScript, all those styles, and yeah, you can just upload them here. But I'm not going to use it. Resources is basically where we have our views. Our views in the sense that the HTML folders, the HTML file that you write. But Laravel uses the Blade template. So any file that you write, you have to write the extension as .blade.php. All right, and then for the route, this is basically where that's the routing. That's like if you want to visit the home page, the to-do page, this is basically where we are going to write everything. For now, we just have the welcome page, which is like the home page. And I think that's all for now. Let's go to app. So with the app, when you click on HTTP controllers, this is where we have our controllers, right? And then the models. Let's see, models. All right, for now, you just have just one user model, right? I think that's it for now, but we'll see how to create a model, how to create a database table, and then how to create a controller with all that. Yeah, for now, we just have all these things, but for now, we can just open up our terminal. And then to run the server, you just need to type php artisan serve. And once you run the server, you can just, I'm going to create a new terminal where I'll be typing my commands. All right, so let's see the previous terminal that we opened. So we can see the Laravel development server is running on this port. All right, and just copy it. All right, for me, I think I already have it open. So let's go there. This port, localhost port 8000. So that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, so it's now accepted. Let's see. Okay, so this is it. This is basically what you see, a home page. I mean, that's basically what you see. Now to look at where that view is, we just go to resources, views, and there's welcome here. Right. So let me close all the tabs. All tabs close. And then let me go back to my terminal. But once you require a Laravel UI package, so you type composer, require Laravel UI. I think it's done. So the next thing to do is to type php artisan UI, and then probably add bootstrap to it. Do it already comes with it. And then auth. So that's it. And then the next thing to do is to run this command. npm install and the npm run dev. Let me just copy it. I know why this thing is not copying. Okay, I think it was already copied. So I just paste it there. All right, so I was just waiting for you to throw this error. So finish. Please run mix again. So basically, it will try an error, but when the error pops up, just do npm run dev and then to just install it again. So you can see finish. Please run mix again. So I'm going to run mix again. So that's the Laravel. Wait, okay, npm run dev. That's what I'm going to write. All right, so Laravel mix is done fully. So compile successfully. Yeah, I think that's it. So we already have our server running. Let me just check to see whether the server is running. Okay, so let me go back. Let's reload this page and see how the page is going to look like. So there's nothing on the nav bar right here. Okay, so now we have login register on the nav bar. So let's click on login. Good. So you can see we have a login page, username and password, and then we also have a register page. So register, we have name, email, password, and this. So Laravel is basically going to create this thing for you automatically. You don't need to worry about login register pages. So I'm going to register my user. I'll just call it calculus, and then I'll type my email, and just type any damn email that you have. Okay, I'll just use the password here. Okay, right here. That's it. So let me register. When you register, it will just take you to the home page. So that's it. It will just show you that you're logged in. Okay, so it's not going to work. I'll tell you why. Because we've not created a table for it. So now let's go here and go back to our database. But before then, let me just show you what we did, what it's created. So let me go to resources and then views. So you can see it actually added a SAS folder for us. And then in the views, it added a layout for us. And it also added a home page for us. And it also brought the auth pages for us: login, register, verify, and then password. That's like reset, sending an email, and then confirming your password. And the next one that it's created, I think the public folder, it added some CSS and JavaScript for us. And the last one, app models. Okay, user models already there. Now let's go to HTTP controllers and controllers. So it's created an auth folder for us where it has all the controllers. So login controller, register controller. So let's see the login controller. This was here. And the register controller. This is the register controller. So when the user register, we just create the name, email, and password. I think that's all. We said, yeah, you can look at this one. And then the home controller. The home controller is right here. And what it does is basically this code just written here is basically a function. It's a construct that's like a middleware. Or that means the user must be authenticated before they can visit this page. And that's it. So open my data terminal. I think that's all. So let's just go to our database and then run the migration. So migrations, and then this is the user table, the first one. So before then, I'll just change this one to increments, and I'll call it ID. So it is like auto increment for the user IDs. Okay, so then to run the migration, just type php artisan migrate, and that's it. You're done. You run it, and it's going to run the tables that are there. So you can see that's migrated this table, and then migrated all the tables here. 1, 2, 3. I think that's all. Now we can go back to our page. I'll just reload this page to see whether it will create the user for me. Yes. Now we have the table. So let's see. Great. So that's it. We are logging as this user. I could actually log out. So the next thing that we'll do is to start with our to-do application, just like we discussed at the beginning. So I'm just going to log out, and then to take me to the home page. So the home page is right here. Yeah, so let's go back to our application and then start the to-do application as we discussed earlier. So I'm going back to the VS Code. But before then, we actually run some migration here with PHP Artisan Migrate. And I want to check what it created for us. So let me go here. All right, so that's our Laravel to-do app database. And these are the tables that it's created for us. Users table, browser reset, and password reset, and then all the migrations that we run, and field jobs. Let me click on users table and see what is there. All right, so I have just one user that I created. You can all see. Email verified. So we didn't verify the email. All right, so we can move on. And then automatically it creates the time that the user was created, and then it will just update it at the same time. All right, and then the password is a password, so we can see that the password is hashed, and this is it. So this is timestamp. So timestamp creates a created at and then updated at time for us. Okay, so now let's create a model called, we are creating a model. So Laravel uses the MVC approach. That's a model view controller. So we'll first create a model, and this model that we're going to create comes with a database or a table, basically, or a migration. That's what we call it in Laravel. So PHP Artisan, we type make model, and then we add the name of the model. So I'm calling it to do. That is it. So this one is just going to create a model for us. It will not add any table for us. But if you want to add a table, which is like called migration, we just add -m, and that is it. We enter. So it's going to create a table for us called create to-dos table. That's a migration. So let's come here. So it's being created, which is right here. That's it. It's created. And then the next thing that we do is we go back to the models to check to see if it's created. So we can see the to-do is created right here. All right. So but before we come to this, let's just go back to the database that we created. So we are going to, that's a table for the to-dos actually, and we are going to include the fields. So in our to-do, we are going to add increment for the ID, increment, and then we call it ID. So the timestamp is already there, and then we create a table for, we add a string for the title. If you want to include a maximum value for the string, you can just do, let's say 255. That's a maximum, right? So you can see when I hover around it, you can see we have public function string. It takes in the column and then the length. The length can be null, but if you want to include a maximum value for it, you can include it. No, I don't need it. And then we move on to the next one, hash table, and I'm going to call it a medium text because that's a description. It can be a lot sometimes, medium text, or you can actually do it text, and we call it description. So we actually want to make it nullable. we actually want to make it nullable so that if the user doesn't fill this space, it wouldn't return any error to the user. So the description is nullable, and we want to add a field for completed at. If you remember the application that I ran, when we added, there was a checkbox that says whether it was completed, but I want to make it a boolean, and then completed, boolean completed, and then we give it a default value of false, and this false is the same as 0, right? So that's a boolean. So if it's completed, it will be 1. If it's not completed, it will be 0. So by default, when a user add this a to-do item, we should just give it a default value of 0. That's if the user doesn't check the checkbox. There should be a default value in the table for it. So hash table, and now we want to add the user ID to this, right? And to link that, we just call unsigned integer. Unsigned integer. Sorry. Unsigned integer. And we call the user ID. And the next thing to do is to link that thing. So we do foreign key. The user ID is a foreign key. So I just call foreign. Just go foreign, and then you type user ID, and then we make references on the ID of the users. On users, and then on delete, you just type on delete, we cascade. All right, and the timestamps are there. I think that's all for now. So we have the title and a description, which can be now, and then the boolean value for the completed, and the user ID, which we are making references on the users. All right, we could actually add a table called self delete. Okay, that's a table column called self delete, but we will not add anything here. All right, so that's it. We are done with this part. So we just have the next thing to do is to just migrate. So PHP artisan migrate to run the thing. So you're running. All right, so you can see it's migrated. We've migrated it. All right, the next thing to do is to go back to the model to do. Let me close this tables. All right, so this is a model. So you can see when we go back to the user model, we have protected fillable to indicate the fields that are fillable, right? And then the fields that are hidden. The fields that are hidden are right here. The password and the remember token. So we could actually copy this to specify the paths that are fillable. The paths that are fillable. Let me go here. We can just copy that and put it here. Right. And we can indicate our title, our description, we also indicate the completed at, and one last one, which is the user ID field. We also want to make it fill up. All right. All right. So there's actually a method, a protected guard to use. You can use protected guard, and that one you don't need to specify all these things, right? If that's like if you know what you are doing, right? I like using that because it just prevents me from writing a whole lot of code. So that one you can just type protected, and then we just type guarded. Protected guarded, sorry, guarded. And then we just make it empty, and that is it. Okay, now let's link the user and the to-dos. So we know that let's call a public function called user. Public function called user. right? So we know that a user has a lot of to-dos to do. So that means that a to-do belongs to a particular user. So we just type return, and then this belongs to a user class. All right, sorry, two colons and then class. Done. And then we can move on to the user and try to link the user to the to-do. So let's scroll down all the way here and create a function called to-dos. So public function to-dos. All right, and then we type return as this has the user has many to do class, right? Many items from the to-do class. All right, I think that's it for now. That is it. Okay, so now let's move on. We are done with all these ones. The next thing to do is to create a controller. So we have controllers right here. So we already have the home controller. All of us saw this, and then the auth controllers, which is the login, the register controller. They are all here. But we are going to create a controller. So in creating a controller, in Laravel, we type PHP artisan the same way we created a model. So this time make controller. That is it. And one thing that you're going to do is there's a difference between a resource controller and then a normal controller. So let's say I type make controller. I'm just going to give you a demo one, a quick demo one. And let me just call it, let me just place all this to-dos controller. All right, controller. When I type enter, let's go here. It will create a controller for us, HTTP controllers. So you can see the to-do controller right here. So there's no function created inside, right? So here we have to write our functions. Let's say public function index, and then we return something. Return, let's say hello. Or let me just do this a demo one with you. And then the next thing to after creating a controller, the next thing to do is to rush through the routes to get this view. So here we could actually return a view from here, but we'll get back there. We'll get back to that one. But let me just come to the route. The auth route, you need to just type it so that you use the auth at the top here, and then the route is already used. Okay. Now let's with this function that this index page, right? Let's return that controller over there. But before that, let me just copy this. Just copy this route, and let's call it demo. Let's call it demo. So the route is demo, and the name of the controller is what? It's called to-do controller. That's it. And then what am I looking for? I'm looking for the function called index. So we have index right here, right? And I want to call it demo. The name should be demo. All right. We don't need to specify a name. We should just go back. Now let's go back here and then look for that. Just drag this one here. And then this is our index page. We add demo to it. It should return hello world for us. And as you can see, that is it. So that's basically how to create a controller and then return the controller from the route and we move on. So I'm just going to comment this one out. I don't need it. Okay. Now let's go back to our controller. So I just want to delete this controller and I'm going to delete it. Yeah, and delete. And then go back to the same command that we run. But in this time, I'll just call it -r to specify that it is a resource controller. So, or you can type --resource, right? So just type -r to indicate that it's a resource controller. Hit enter, and it will create it for us. Now, when I open this controller, we'll have a lot of functions inside. So you have like the index function, we have create function, we have store function, we have show function, and we have edit function, and update, destroy. That is it. We're done. Okay. So now, like I said, I'm not going to use the home page that we created, which is this. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to return the login page to the user anytime the user tries to visit this home page. So let's go back here from the route here, and then here, instead of returning the view called welcome, we just return redirect. Return redirect. We are redirecting the user to a route called the route to the login route. All right. So to this login route. So now let's go back to our index page. Let me hit enter. It will redirect me to the login page. All right. So as you can see, the URL has changed in the browser already. So we are on the login page. So now we don't have any index page. All right. And then the next thing to do is to actually start writing our functions in the to-do. All right. So now with the to-dos, if you could remember, like on the home page, we just basically return the view. So let me just call it the index page. So return the view or home. That view is called home. So when I go to my resources, views, and home, which is right here. So it's returning this view called home. Let me just add a semicolon at the end. And then let's come to my route here. So now we actually called it a resource controller. So with the resource controller, when you add resource to it, it will just return all the functions that are there. So route, so I'm just going to call this route resource, right? So that's it. So now we return, let's call it to do, the route called to do, just like I showed it the other time. And then the controller, you don't need to do all this. Just I'll just call up HTTP. I know where the controller is, right? You all know where it is, controllers, and then to do controller. We called it to do's controller actually. To do's controller. All right, done. We're done. So now let's go back to to do index page and see what you see. So we just go here and go to do actually let's just to do what you will see. All right, so you can see it's taking us to the home page where it says you are logged in. But ideally, we want a user to be able to log in before they can see this page, right? So that's when we need to add the public construct. So let's do that right now. So if you can remember, you could just copy this. This is one actually. Let me just copy it. I don't need to type it. And then let's add it here. Done. Okay, so now let's go here. Let's try to reload to do. Because we said the user must be authenticated before visiting this page. I think it's basically going to redirect the user to the login page. Let's hit enter. All right, so now the user needs to log in first, right? So now when you call the resource route, right, the resource route, what it's going to do is it's going to create a lot of routes for you. The routes for all these functions: index, create, store, show, edit, update, and then destroy. So I'm going to call a route list. Let me just close this, and then let's type php artisan route. Let's list the routes that's available. All right, cool. So now we have like the domain. There's nothing here. We are just using the localhost. That's fine. And then the method for that particular route. So you can see the index page here. The method is called what? It's a get method, so we can visit there. And then there's API user. You can go there, but you don't need it. And then there's home, right? The name is home, and then this is the method. It's a get method, and this is the controller that is linking it, and it's in the web file. And then the auth ones are here. The auth, right? The auth ones are here. And this is a login post method. But let's come to our to-dos. So let's see the to-do. So get. So what is it? To do. but the name of the route is called to-do.index, right? And this is a controller. It's taking the index. And then another post method called to-do, but in this case is to-do.store, which is taking the store method. All of them. So this create. If you want to go to create, you just do /create. It's a get method. And if you want to view a particular to-do, you just go there and do this. To-do / the name of the to-do. And if you want to update, this is an update. And then to delete, that is it. And then if you want to edit, to do the name of the to do or the ID of the to do, and then the method called to do. Like it's basically to do dot edit. We're done. So that's basically the routes. So I'm going to open one route called create. Let's see what is there. All right, but we can't go there because we are not logged in, right? All right, so it's redirecting me to login. But let me just try to log in, and then I'll go there for you to see. So create. So you can see create. There's nothing here. There's no view here, and I think show. Let's see one. I'm showing one. There's nothing there. It's actually showing us 12. All right, and let's say we are editing this. There's nothing there. So nothing will happen. To just show an empty page. All right, so let's go back here, and so the index page for to do. Let's go to the index page of to do. It should show us the home page right here. All right, so we are logging. That is it. Okay, so I want to edit this home page, and then all right. So the home page. Let's go there. Okay, so this is it. So we don't need this, right? So let's just return a paragraph. I'm just going to type a paragraph. Okay. Let's see whether when we go there, we will actually see that paragraph called hello world. Let's see. All right, so it's right here, hello world. So that means we are just going to edit this home page here. So the first thing that we do is let's create a header with this header that is here, right? And then we just call it add item, right? So h5, right? And then you could actually do dot and call it card header. Hit enter, it will just come to create it with the item. Then we'll create a button. So that's an href. That's a link that we are creating. And then we create a class as a button. I'll make a button small. And then I also make a button outline, outline, and then I'll give it a primary color, outline primary, and hit enter. And then the href is to do dot create. We are looking for the route to create a to do. So route to do dot create. So once you start typing, then it will be there. And then the name of the to do, we'll just call it add item. Add item. I think that's it for this one. Let's go back here and reload the page to see whether it is there. Okay, so we have it here. So when we click on it, it should basically take us to the to-do.create page. Right, so there's nothing there, there's no view there. Because when we come to the to-do controller, I don't need the web controller right now. The route, sorry. The create, there's nothing here, so we can continue from here.